So let's talk about the difference between building from scratch and how to properly insulate from there, and then let's talk about retrofitting, a house that's already there.
Yeah. So generally, when you're building from scratch, you have a energy rating that's actually provided for you, which you need to keep. Make sure you meet those requirements.
Provided by who?
From your energy rater, so part of your architectural and all that sort of stuff. So that they'll put it into a rating system. They'll give you a certain amount of stars will come out, and you need to meet those requirements when you're building a new home. With an existing home, obviously you don't have that. But if there's opportunities to do your walls or your ceilings or your floors,
Right. So an existing home doesn't have to meet certain energy requirements.
No.
Interesting. So it's not like a law was passed and now everyone has to, I didn't even know
not
about the new homes actually. Right. Okay. So about building a new home, like what would you be advising people to do?
From an electrical perspective, from a battery perspective, deciding first of all whether they're looking at a grid connected house, meaning a house which is connected electrically to the national grid system, or alternatively a house which is not connected, and that's called off-grid battery systems. That initial decision is going to change a lot of the wiring and a lot of the systems that need to be put into place, whether or not you're looking at having a battery backup or not, whether you choose to use things like electric hot water, solar boosted, or electric hot plates for cooking. So step one would be to decide whether or not you're wanting to be able to draw power from the grid and potentially save on costs by having solar photovoltaic panels, solar PV, maybe generating a bit during the day. As a second to that, you might look at a battery system so that you can store your own generated power and use it to heat and cool your home and to run your lights and your computers. And then further down the track, the kind of all-out system would be a completely isolated off-grid system, which is where you really need to make sure that your house is as efficient as it possibly can. Because if you don't have a grid connection to draw from, you have to make sure that you can cover a week of Melbourne rain.
So is it another benefit being on the grid that you can sell back to the grid?
It is. In recent times, we've seen that the tariff, it's called the feed-in tariff, has been reduced enormously. And I've literally just in the last week saw an article about how that, in Victoria at least, is going up from 6 cents per kilowatt hour to 11.5 cents per kilowatt hour, which is a huge boon for Victorians who have solar. About 130,000 households, I read, who are currently connected to grid solar. Because of that low feed-in tariff though, it's not really a viable option for people to depend on their solar production for money or income. Because if you're selling to the grid even at 11 cents per kilowatt hour, you have to buy back at 32 cents or 40 cents for green power. So it doesn't make financial sense, and a lot of people are thinking about retrofitting battery systems because of that.
Do you have to be at home using it then and there for it to be viable?
If you don't have a battery system, then if you're at home during the day, and let's say that it's Melbourne summer and it's a beautiful sunny day and clear skies, your entire house would be potentially powered by the solar you're generating, and your little meter, so a lot of things have changed to smart meters, but you can remember the old disc meters? Yeah. If you had gone out and looked, it would not be moving, or it would be moving in reverse. If you're not at home and there's no power, all of the electricity that you're generating from the roof is being sold at 6 or 11 cents per kilowatt hour. That's a unit of energy. But then at night time when you come back from work and you turn the electric hot water on, you're paying up to 40 cents per kilowatt hour for that. So it just doesn't make any sense. People want battery systems so that they can be at work during the day.
Store it.
They can store the energy that they made on the beautiful part of the day and then come and use it at night time and not actually pay that high tariff coming off. And the energy price increases year by year. So it's not like it's going down anytime soon.
Yeah.